We're absolutely chuffed and delighted and honoured to be opening this year's Frightfest!
Hello, and welcome back to Mancinima. Some clips there from this year's annual Frightfest, which takes place in Leicester Square at the Empire Cinema. It takes place every August bank holiday, but more of that footage later on at the end of this video. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is give you a talk today about 5 of the movies that I was impressed with that I saw at Frightfest. Now, there's over 70 or so movies shown at Frightfest, and obviously we can't be in every screen all the time. We've only got 5 days to do it. We've only got probably about an average of about 3 to 4 films a day to get to see, so obviously we can't be everywhere at once. But I did see a load of movies, and I've picked 5 of those for you today. And we are going to start with a movie called Raging Grace at number 5. Now, Raging Grace is a story about Joy. She's an immigrant mother and she's living illegally in the country. She's a Filipino and she has her little daughter Grace to take care of. And they go, she's trying to make the best of her situation. She goes off and takes this job with this elderly gentleman, but everything is not as it seems. The movie is fantastically performed. I thought there was some superb action in it, some superb suspense, and the actors are absolutely amazing, especially the little girl Grace. On this video, I won't have time to go into as depth a review as we ordinarily do, so I will just say, when Raging Grace is released, please go and see the movie. It's a really tense, really well-structured movie with great performances. The only thing I found a little bit misleading was the title, Raging Grace, because Rage doesn't actually do a lot of raging. So, yeah, when you get to the end of the movie you think, come on, Grace, do a bit more raging. And she doesn't do a bit more raging, she just kind of is slightly miffed and she gets a little bit upset by a few things, but never mind. It's still a great film and you should check out Raging Grace when you get the opportunity to do so. So number 4 on my list of must-sees from this year's Frightfest is a movie called Sacrifice Game. Now this was the closing movie of the evening and it actually broke down while we were watching it. Obviously everyone was getting ready to see Frightfest off at the end of the festival and have a great time. It's sad that it's all gone. This should be the big uplifting movie of the festival. We got about probably just over halfway through and then the sound vanished and then the picture froze and we all sat in darkness for a little while and wondering what the hell was going on. However, they did manage to rewind the film a little bit, take it back to where we missed it and we saw the rest of the movie through. Anyway, beside the point, Sacrifice Game is a very good film. It basically tells the story of these Manson family type people who go around murdering people and you see them sawing off bits of skin and they need it to complete a ritual which they believe will summon a demon and bring him back to this earth in order to grant all of their wishes. However, things do not go as planned when they happen upon a Catholic school led by Chloe Levine from The Ranger. She is kind of the lead female adult in this movie, and a couple of little girls, and things, as I say, do not go to plan. They think they've got this plan where they're going to sacrifice Rose and also the little girls, and then the demon's going to come up and give them everything that they want. But to say anything other than that would be to give everything away. So yeah, this is again another well-acted, well-paced. It's got some funny moments, got some gory moments. It's definitely one to look out for. I really enjoyed it, despite the film breaking down at the end of Frightfest. So that is Sacrifice Game, so look out for that one. That makes the number 4 spot on my list. So number 3 on my list is How to Kill Monsters, which is kind of a spiritual sequel to 2018's The Book of Monsters, which unfortunately I never saw. So I went into this one completely blind. The story starts off with a group of people in a cabin in the woods and they're trying to sacrifice this girl to a demon again, and obviously everything goes wrong. A massive monster bursts through, slaughters all the creatures in this cabin in the woods, and the police turn up and they arrest this young girl, played by Lindsay Crane. I think she plays a character called Jamie Lancaster or Lannister or something like that. And they take her off to jail and they think that obviously she's murdered all these people and she's pleading her innocence, saying no she didn't, that a giant monster did it instead. So they get back to the jail cell and more or less something happens that all the monsters suddenly congregate upon the jail cell and all hell breaks loose, where you've got the prisoners and the cops and everybody else trying to defend themselves against all of these giant monsters. Now it may sound a bit silly, monsters and things like that, but the effects are very well done and the characters are a lot of fun. There's a lot of cheesy characters in there, a lot of funny characters in there, some of the dialogue is really funny. Great performances by everybody involved. I thought everybody gave it their all, and you'll leave this movie just having enjoyed yourself and having basically had the time of your life. You know, you walk out of this film, it's a popcorn movie, it's one of those ones you pop on a Saturday night and you sit down to enjoy, and you'll walk out with a big grin on your face, and basically what you paid for is what you've got. So yeah, I do recommend highly How to Kill Monsters. Again, I don't know when this movie's coming out, but you keep an eye out for it. It'll probably be on a streaming channel like Shudder. I do know that Book of Monsters is on Amazon Prime / Shudder, so if you can go and check that one out, you'll get a feel for what this one's about. It's got some of the same cast in it. And I know that the director at the time said that he would like to do like an American Horror Story kind of thing, where we do like another monster movie. You'd have the same cast, again, playing a different role, because Lindsay Crane is also in Book of Monsters, playing a different part than what she does in How to Kill Monsters. So that'll be exciting to look forward to, and I hope he does do another one of these, because it really was a really good, really fun ride. So that was How to Kill Monsters, and that is my number 3 movie. My number 2 movie is a movie called Lore. Now, it's not L-A-W, it's L-O-R-E, as in storytelling lore. Now, this concerns a bunch of people who go off to Scotland, and they go off on this weird, creepy camping trip. And their guide is basically played by Richard Brake, and he takes them off in the woods, and he sits them around a fireplace, and he has a totem, and he says to them, right, what you've got to do is to appease the demons of the woods, you've got to throw a totem into the fire and tell a story, and if your story is great, then the demons will leave you alone. And that's what each of them does. So we get 4 separate tales from each of the 4 people sat around the campfire, and they vary. There's some really funny ones. There was one that I found particularly creepy as well, about a woman in a kind of a haunted house. First couple of scenes in that are really, really creepy and kind of give you the kind of the shudders kind of thing. But then as it goes on, they go into typical monster territory. So it kind of lets itself down that one a little bit. But yeah, I found all 4 of the tales entertaining. I thought they were fun. I thought the performances were great in there. Rufus Hound, the comedian, is in one of the tales, and his tale is particularly funny and particularly gory as well. And for a while, this remained, while I was at the festival, my number 1 movie at the festival. So I was kind of like, yes, Lore was my favourite movie so far. And then something else came along, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, and knocked it off the number 1 spot. But yeah, I would recommend that you check out Lore if you get the opportunity. As I say, it's got a good cast. It's got Andrew Lee Potts, who was in Primeval, and he faces off against kind of a monster in the beginning of the first episode of this tale. And like I say, Richard Brake is kind of the crypt keeper narrator with his rotten teeth, and he's saying you must put a totem into the fire and tell a tale, and he's suitably creepy. Apart from that, he doesn't actually have a lot to do. I wish he did have a lot more to do, and that he had a story that paid off. But yeah, he's good in what he does. He's good as the kind of the creepy camp person who tells you that you've got to put the totem in the fire and talk about your stories. Rufus Hound, as I said, is funny in his tale, and yeah, there's a couple of other tales in there that are worth watching. I'm not generally a fan of anthology films, because generally you'll get like one that's good and the rest are a bit rubbish, whereas this one's got the majority that are good. And yeah, I do recommend that you check out Lore, L-O-R-E, should you get the opportunity, and that is my number 2 spot. And so we reached the number 1 spot on our list, which is a movie called Departing Seniors, and it's by first-time director Claire Cooney, and she does an amazing job with this film. It's kind of a Scream type movie, where you've got an ensemble cast and there's a kind of a killer killing them all off, and you have to work out who that person is. However, our story concerns Ignacio Diaz Silverio, and he plays a character called Javier, and he's kind of an awkward, shy, nice kid in school. And he gets picked upon by the usual bullies. You know, you usually get these football jocks that go along in these films and pick on people and give them a hard time. And it's during this incident that he suffers an accident, winds up in hospital, and when he winds up in hospital, he wakes up and he finds that he's got these psychic powers, which is apparently something that happens down through his family. When he touches people's hands, he can get a glimpse of their future, similar to The Dead Zone. Do you remember that movie with Christopher Walken from many years ago? And he gets an insight into them. He touches the hand of one of the football bullies, and he sees the football bully attempt suicide, or that's what it appears. Into further investigation, we find out that this isn't quite the case, and these people are being murdered, but their deaths are made to be, looks like suicide. So that's the basic plot of this movie. It's a really good movie. Irian Roach, she plays a character called Bianca, and she is Javier's best friend, and she is so funny, she's so sarcastic, and some of the comments that she comes out with in this film just have me roaring in my seat. As I say, it's a really good film. It's got kind of the Scream vibe about it, but it also takes it in a whole new, fresh direction, and it's definitely a movie that I think deserves a wide audience when it opens. How this movie is going to be distributed, I don't know, but I hope it really does have great success. It was my favourite at the festival. It's one of those ones that came along, took me by surprise. I knew that I wanted to see the film because I love the synopsis. I love the way that the story was kind of laid out, and I do love a Scream kind of movie. And when I saw the movie, it instantly went to the top of my list. I thought it was a fantastic film, and congratulations to everybody involved, especially Claire. I thought, Claire, you did an amazing job with this film. So yes, everybody, when you can, go and see Departing Seniors. As I say, I don't know what the distribution situation is at the moment, but it will turn up somewhere. Just keep your eyes on the press for it. And that was my #1 movie of the entirety of Frightfest. Now, I must say, as I say, it was a top 5, and I saw 20-something movies. There was one movie that didn't make this list, which should have done. And the reason for that is that once we saw it at Frightfest, it literally opened at the cinema the next day, so it wasn't worth me presenting it to you because you probably would have already seen it by the time this video goes out. And that's the movie of Cobweb. Now, Cobweb's a really creepy film. Again, fantastic performances by Anthony Starr and Lizzie Kaplan. They play the parents of this young lad who begins to see this creature appearing in the corner of his room. So that's a really creepy, really fun movie. Unfortunately, as I say, the movie's passed by now, so it's not worth me reviewing it. It's already been out in the cinema for a couple of weeks, maybe a week or so. So yeah, go and see Cobweb. That's another great film. So yeah, that's all that I've got to say at the moment. Sorry it was so fast this week. As I say, I've only got a 15-minute runtime. When I get more subscribers, they'll allow me to expand my runtime, and I can give you a more in-depth analysis of these movies. So please, if you can, subscribe to the channel. As usual, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It goes this way up. Don't be a thumb bandit. You know, those people who click on it this way round because they think they're clever. Please click on it this way up to show you've liked the video. It really does help me out. Spreads the word of these videos. Hit the notification bell. You'll know when I've done another one. And please come and have a chat with me down in the comments. I'm going to leave you with some shots, some further shots from Frightfest this year, and I hope you'll enjoy some of the atmosphere of what went on there, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.
Have a good time, enjoy Frightfest.
And now it's time to get on with the show.